Hello, everyone, and welcome to Formation the Podcast. It's Nat and Al, and we are here to chat all things British Grand Prix. We are so excited to dive into all things Silverstone. Al, what did you think?
Woo! Do you know it's good when you're going to get a good British summer rain session?
Oh my goodness. This weekend reminded me why I love Formula One so much, why it gets me so excited, and just how amazing this sport actually is. I feel energized, recharged. I feel like it's the beginning of the season again, and I'm just like so excited again.
And that's exactly the way you want to be feeling going into midsummer break. Yes, it's setting us up for the second half of the year. We all feel really good about it. It's given us a lot to talk about in the time that we will have on our hands over the next 2 weeks.
I know.
And I'm so excited to
It,
discuss.
it couldn't have given us any more. It had
Great
everything.
mixture.
Just had everything. And just when you think you know where all the cards are going to lie and how everything's going to pan out, no, just
No.
curveball after curveball after curveball. It kept me on my toes,
Loved
to say
it.
the least.
Loved every second of it.
It was so good. Should we start from the beginning of the weekend?
Let's start from the beginning of the weekend. I think, the weather was great, that's for sure.
Yeah, good start.
At the beginning of the weekend, really lovely summer days we had, and a really strong start in practice for Ferraris.
Can I just say,
Yes.
I know I did predict a all British podium. I thought Lewis Hamilton was going to have a clean sweep of the weekend. After the practice sessions, I actually thought my dreams and hopes and wishes were coming to light.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
I thought whatever upgrades they have slapped on this Ferrari are paying dividends, and Lewis is going to run away with it. They were so good in practice.
So good. And notably, Charles was great in practice.
Oh, yeah, both of them.
Yeah, they were definitely faster than the McLarens out there in practice.
Yeah.
And
then,
I guess, as we know, unfortunately didn't translate, but they were super strong. Max showed his nose in there a little bit, as he does.
as he does. The Mercedes were kind of just nowhere, really, in
Not
free
sure
practice.
what was going on with the Mercedes.
Well, I think George said it in one of the press conferences that, cool, dry conditions are their sweet spot. And we kind of didn't really have any of that this weekend. When it was cool, it was raining. When it was dry, it was hot. Yeah, it didn't really go in their favor this weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, straight
unfortunately.
from practice, I did think it was going to be a Lewis Hamilton Ferrari magic history moment, and just wasn't to be.
No, it wasn't. And as well, while we're talking about our predictions, when we did do our predictions, I was so excited for the all British lineup, but also there was that little thing on my shoulder that was saying, come on, obviously Oscar's going to be up there.
Yeah.
And yeah, every time he was peeking his nose, P2, P3 in practice, I was like, oh, how is this going to go? Like, how is this going to go?
Yeah, it kept chopping and changing, really. We had your regular front runners, but then you always had like a random just pop up here or there, and it was anybody's game. And then as soon as the weather was forecast for rain, I was just like, wow, what is going to happen?
When was the
And
last time
then,
we had a rainy race?
I don't know. Melbourne obviously springs to mind. One,
Trauma.
because I was there and it was raining, and it was noticeably raining. It wasn't just, a bit of drizzle here or there. It was full, into tires, let's go, puddles. But yeah, I'm just still buzzing from it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I was just going to say, was there anything else in practice that you want to talk about?
Oh, look, no, practice is practice. What a session. Shall we just go straight into qualifying?
Well, it felt like a Monaco qualifying.
Yeah.
I was so excited for qualifying. I think as well, because we had the different cars. We had the Ferraris up there. We had obviously Max up there. It wasn't just a McLaren and picking between Oscar or Lando. We had others to choose from.
Yeah, exactly.
But it felt the atmosphere, like we obviously weren't even at the race. I guess it comes from a lot of the commentators are British. Obviously, I watch it through Sky Sports, which is a British show.
Yeah.
So it just felt like such a big production. It just felt really good to watch.
Yeah.
I think you could feel their excitement.
I mean,
through the
your
screen.
British roots as well.
Well, yeah. We did mention that last week.
Yeah, yeah.
Half British guys, if you missed that one. But no, going into qualifying, I was like, okay, it's on. Let's see what's going to happen. And then we had Q1.
Then we had Q1. Let me tell you, at the end of Q1, I was like,
Lewis is going out.
what the is Ferrari doing?
I know.
Oh, I was like, no, 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 no.
My heart
please,
was
please.
in my mouth. In my mouth.
And why is he even listening at this point? He's even questioning it. He's the one saying, guys, why are we not going back out? I want to go back out. This was his home race. He was not going to be leaving anything on the table. He needed to get it done. And if it means using his tyres in Q1, he had to use his tyres in Q1.
Why did they not fuel the car for 2 runs? Mercedes did it. So why can't Ferrari do it?
Ridiculous.
It's
not
like
enough fuel.
they just love playing catch up. They don't look ahead enough. Like, foresee the different circumstances and plan for it. Why are we going out with 1 run to do when the track's improving? The times are just getting faster and faster. He got in by the skin of his teeth. It was like nail-bitingly stressful.
Yeah.
Stress.
It was
I have no nails left. I have none.
None to begin with, but I've got no nails left.
Yeah, no, that was stressful,
that was extremely stressful to watch.
Thank God he got through.
Thank gosh. Other than that, top teams obviously advanced really smoothly.
Yeah, we had just the Saubers out, which we will talk about later. Aston Martin of Lance Stroll, Franco Colapinto, which wow, just wow.
Yeah.
And we had Liam Lawson also out. And then going into Q2, there was not really any huge surprises there for me. We had both of the Williams go out, Yuki go out. Esteban went out and Isaac Hadjar. So no huge surprises there.
No. I think in Q2, obviously, it's when we started seeing Max start to set some pace.
Yes. And you just
it's terrifying.
Yeah, it is. Because you just know he can get more.
Yeah.
Whatever lap time he does, he's got another 10th here. He's got another 10th there. So where does he find this time? Who knows? But he will find it. If there is time to be found, Max Verstappen is finding it.
Absolutely. And
he did.
McLarens were close behind though, so nudging on each other.
So then Q3 comes around and there was not much in it.
I was like, come on. Oscar was absolutely flying. Flying. Purple sector after purple sector after purple sector. And then each time he was hitting a purple, I was like, oh my God, who's stealing those purples? And then out of nowhere, Max pops up on my screen. Of
course, it's Max.
My God, how is he doing this?
But then after Max went, Lewis went, and his first sector was purple. I was like, he's got it. I was like, yes, Lewis. But then that last corner, he just had a little bit of a moment, and that's all it took. Because I think there was only like 2 or 3 tenths separating Max Verstappen on pole to Lewis in P5, which is ridiculous. Wild. Like,
absolutely wild. Yes, because like even Lewis and George were very close. Notably, Ollie Behrman.
Yes, that's
Ollie popping his car into 8th.
It's like he knew, okay, I've got a 10.
He needed it.
A 10 place grid drop. I've got to pull something out of the back.
He needed it for sure.
It was the push he needed.
Yeah. And he did really well.
And then we had Pierre and Fernando in Q3 as well, which great for those two. When both of their teammates are wherever they ended up, not even making it out of Q1, and then they're popping it into Q3. Like, hats off to them.
Yeah, 100%. I just wanted a bit more from the Williams.
I think because we kind of got used to seeing them in Q3 and battling it up there with the big guys for a while.
Yeah. Carlos was actually throwing in some really good laps as well at one point, and it looked super promising. But just like, come on, like maybe we need to give them some of our manifestation magic, Natalie.
I know. We must be psychic voodoo or something. I don't know, because it's pretty crazy. So crazy. But yeah, so we had Max Verstappen on pole with that epic lap, followed by the 2 McLarens, then George, Lewis, Charles, Kimi, Oliver, Fernando, and Pierre to round out the top 10, which I think was a really good...
Great grid lineup.
Yep, great grid lineup. As soon as I saw the weather forecast for the rain on the Sunday, I was like, oh, Max in the rain is just a weapon. See you
Yeah.
later. He's won this
He's
thing
just going
and
to take off and be gone and
call
just
it a
leave
day.
everyone in his spray.
It was not to be.
No.
No.
Well, maybe we'll just kick off by saying, do we just go straight into it? The hot talking points of the race.
Let's do it. Lando Norris wins Silverstone for the first time, his home Grand Prix, and has the weekend of his life, basically. So go Lando, go McLaren.
Go Lando. Obviously, there's controversy surrounding his win, but in saying that, he raced a great race. He was
He did.
constantly behind Oscar.
So, yeah, who
Didn't let
came
up,
in.
and he was right there to take the win when he needed to. So, yeah, props to him. Is this going to be something that changes how he's perceived with winning? You know, it's a different thing when you win your own home race. He had his Lando stand, by the way, which was freaking awesome. How
Going off
cool was that?
chops. Lando's stand, it was like 3 stands put into one. How many people were there?
But could you just imagine him racing down that straight towards his fans that are decked out in his gear? I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
It's
Like a
phenomenal.
cult. He's got a cult following, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
he
And
deserves
it's
it.
the best thing about it is obviously drivers in the past have like built really strong personal brands, like, you know, Lewis, for example. But he takes it to such a different level of personal brand. And it's just, yeah, props to you, man. Like that is just
Yeah.
love it. Love to see it.
Good on him.
Yeah,
No, it was epic.
absolutely. So yes, Lando taking the win.
Wow.
Yes.
I know you said he ran a really good race, which he did.
Mm.
Obviously, he was there to capitalize on whatever happened, but he could not keep up with Oscar's pace. I think there was one point after the first pit stop, he was like 11, 12 seconds behind Oscar.
Yeah, wow.
Oscar was just in a league of his own, which was actually really interesting to see because all weekend I felt that Oscar was just that one step behind Lando in all the practice sessions and you know, the first part of quali. And then Oscar's just like, no, I'm here, chucking in purple sectors left, right, and center.
Yeah.
And then his race pace was killer. As soon as he overtook Max, it was just like, see you later.
Yeah. It was his, yeah. The controversy, Natalie.
I know.
Talk. The
We
headline
shall.
moment.
And before we dive into it, talking about Lando's win as well, I think it was good in a way
But
that
you
it
think it could have been better.
wasn't
It wasn't
Lando's.
dominant, is that
No,
what you're
it
saying?
definitely wasn't. It was you've got to be there to pick up the crumbs.
Yeah.
Basically, which he was, which is what you have to do when you want to win a world championship. You know, if you're not at the front, be as close as you possibly can. So if anything goes wrong, you're there to capitalize, which is what he did.
Yeah.
But it's not like he was on Oscar's tail. He was knocking at the door. If the penalty never came to fruition, I don't think Lando had any chance of catching Oscar at all. He
No
was just
chance.
out there running his own race, basically. Like he got fastest lap as well, Oscar.
He
At the end
did.
of the day.
Yeah.
So there's another point for his championship.
Yeah.
But I think what was nice about it, not nice, I think if nice is definitely the wrong word, but you'll see what I mean. At least it wasn't Lando behind Oscar at the safety car restart and him saying, oh, he broke too hard and then, in turn that got Oscar the penalty. I think because it was Max, it's fine. It's like it wasn't Lando like playing dirty to get the win. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I also, God, I've got so many mixed emotions about this bloody penalty.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. What's your honest reaction about, one, the penalty that they dished out, and then two, about the situation? And then we can think about how Oscar's reacted to it.
I think that it's come out afterwards that he broke, it was like 166 kilometers per hour, which is crazy.
It is crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's dangerous.
It's dangerous at the end of the day, especially in those conditions. You can't see anything.
100%.
So yes, I think dangerous, not on.
I think he definitely deserved a penalty. And obviously it's also come out that if I had the decision to either give him a 5-second penalty or a 10-second penalty and they gave
Yeah.
him the 10-second, I mean, come on, 10 seconds?
Yeah, should have been 5.
It should have been 5. And
Yeah.
if it was 5, would Lando have won?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No.
So, yeah, you feel for him because obviously, you know, we've been quite vocal about Oscar and how he's like cool, calm and collected. Always
Yeah.
has been. We're really starting to see his emotions come into play.
Oh, and it's great. He wants it. You can tell
We
he
love
wants
it.
his
We
championship.
love it. And bloody oath, you're going to be upset. Let him be upset. Everyone's coming down really hard on him. And I think it's quite a common thing where us as spectators are like, he's being a crybaby or he's sooking too much and he's carrying on. And it's like, we do this to the drivers a lot, but that's just them showing their emotion. They're dedicated to their sport. They're dedicated to their championship that they're both in contention for. So of course they're going to react the way they're reacting. And really, it was harsh.
For sure. And, you know, if it wasn't Lando that won, would McLaren have gone to town trying to fight that penalty?
Yeah.
I'm sure they would have.
Yeah.
So
it'll be
is it
interesting
what?
to see what they do if, you know, I think they'll fight it.
I don't think they will at all.
You don't?
Lando won. It didn't change anything for McLaren at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They get their home boy to win their home Grand Prix. They still get the same amount of points.
Look, I get it from that point of view, but I think we were discussing this only like last week or the week before about the consistency in the stewarding.
Lack thereof.
And lack thereof. And it's almost they need to contest it for the fact that it doesn't happen again, whether it's to their driver or another driver. Like, Max got a 10-second penalty for running someone off the bloody track.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, how is that even in comparison? And I get it. It was dangerous. It was a dangerous move. And the timing was horrible. As Oscar was saying, the light for the safety car to be over went off at the exact time that he braked. So it was just not ideal timing. Even if you looked back on the previous laps, he was braking at that point on the track each lap. So it was just unfortunate timing. The whole thing's just...
It's a whole thing.
Yeah. The emotional stakes are very high.
Oh, for sure. And I think, you know, if they weren't both in contention for the championship, maybe Oscar wouldn't have been as upset. But it's like, no, I'm fighting here as well.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you want your team to go to bat for you and fight tooth and nail to get everything you deserve and more.
Yeah.
But it's so hard when the person that capitalizes is your teammate. What do they do? You know, it's just,
Yeah,
I don't
very
know.
juicy. But, you know, at least they still got the McLaren 1-2. They still got good points.
They did.
Just
Which
probably...
it doesn't matter anymore anyway. McLaren are winning the championship. Like, that's in the bag. The constructors is in the bag.
Something
It's
so outrageous
basically-
happens, which I highly doubt. But hello, look who's on the points board. Sauber.
Oh my gosh. Just scenes, absolute scenes from all angles. My goodness.
I could not
was.
believe my eyes.
You know what? There was a point in the race where I thought, oh my goodness, it's going to be Lance Stroll or Nico on the
We need to come back to Lance Stroll because...
Yeah, he was showing promise there for a while.
Wow,
But
he
I
really
just
was.
thought, my gosh, it's going to be one of them on the podium. And you know what? Whoever it's going to be, I was rapt for them because whether it's Lance, who hasn't been on a podium in gazillion years, and, you know, the Aston Martin isn't a top 2 team, so shouldn't be there anyway.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, same as the Sauber. I was like, whoever it is, amazing. But obviously I was like, come on, Nico, you can do this. Just like...
Do you know what? Nico's podium is so highly ranked on the feel-good stories for me. Like, it is just... We were weeks ago just saying we just want to see him on there. We just want to see him on there. And look at him go.
And it's just like another reason why I love this sport so much, because he's been in Formula One for 15 years at numerous teams. He has
239 races.
And he's finally got on a podium. Like, it just goes to show how many things need to come together for that to happen. It's not by chance. It's hard work from people in the factory, the strategist, the driver. So many things have to come together.
Yeah.
And, you know, a sprinkling of luck in there as well. But good on him. I was so happy for him, and it's just
Oh,
he must feel so much validation, and not that he needs
so
validation,
humble
like
though. Like
yeah.
even in all his interviews, I was like, oh God, I love this guy.
When he got out of the car and everyone was just jumping and chanting like Nico,
Nico,
Nico.
Nico,
Oh, it
Nico.
was
And
so
did you
good.
see, even before he got out of the car, Gabby went
Oh,
sprinting towards him? This is so awesome. Even over the radio as well, Gabby was like,
yeah.
hey man, it's Gabby. You're a legend.
Just
I'm like,
so it's just like genuine happiness from everyone. Even
yeah.
Max, when he drove past him,
And he was
he
like,
was like, I have goosebumps now. It was just humbling to see. It brings back that human element
yeah,
into the sport.
yeah,
You know, Max wins week in, week out, but he knows like what that means for Nico. Everyone had just the most amazing things to say about him. And
yeah,
even
yeah.
Carlos said, I've always rated him as a top 5 driver. Just
Mm,
because his accolades don't match that, it doesn't mean he's not.
yeah, that's right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, for him to get that podium. And even when they went into the cool down room, he didn't know where to put his helmet, and Lando put
Well, he
it
didn't
in the
even know
spot.
how to bring it in.
Yeah, like
And even when they were on the podium and they're taking their photos, and they usually take their photos just like standing there, arms around each other kind of thing. And Nico's standing there with his trophy like, yeah.
oh,
No one's told him that they don't pose with the trophy.
he's like, I'm not putting it down.
Yeah. I don't care if it's Lego or
Y-
gold.
Yeah, whatever. I've got one.
Yeah.
Oh
So good.
no,
If
it
I
was
was going
so
to
good.
also, just while we're on the podium, if I was going to say anything about Oscar and his sulking, it
Oh,
would be the fact that I'm a little bit annoyed that he let his mood get in the way of them celebrating Nico with the champagne spray, because I'm like, they just walked off on him, and I'm like,
mm,
Oscar, like out of everyone, that happened to him on his first win. Can't be doing that to someone else. I know you're not in a good mood, but spray the guy. This is
yeah.
monumental for him.
Just give him a bit of
Give
spray
him
in the
a
face.
spray.
Yeah, literally.
So yeah, I was a little bit shitty about that. But
He walked on the podium and was just like, it's like,
yeah,
smile, show us some teeth. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah. Hands on hips,
Um,
like
yeah,
but yeah, super good from Nico, you know?
just feel good. I could talk about Nico all day.
Yeah, yeah. Same, same.
That
We
was
should. We should. But let's
that
carry
was
on.
epic. I know.
Shall we talk about Lance?
Yes, we shall. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He's
How
there.
who is he, and what happened to the old Lance Stroll, and did you put some magic device in his wrist when you did his operation? I don't know.
However,
Seventh.
7, but did you hear him on the radio?
Oh, how he
Call
said that this is the shittest car he's ever driven.
Yeah, like, what is this piece of shit? I was like, "Yes, go Lance," and, like, forgetting about all the Lancey things he's done in the past. And then you see that radio pop up and you're just like, "Come on, you just got 7th. It's
Uh,
probably your highest finish of the year. Don't quote me on that, but just be happy about it. Come on."
yeah. Yeah. I think they did a really great job at, obviously, like, his tyre strategy really worked. And I
Yeah, he
think
was
that's what
with
really worked for him.
same as Nico, they were on that kinda alternate strategy,
Yeah.
which worked.
Yeah, he was up in third for a bit.
There was a
I
point
was like, is
where I think
is
Lewis was
Lewis gonna get him, or
I know. There was a point where Lewis was catching Nico and Lance, and I love Lewis is my man. But
Yeah.
so I was like, come on, Lewis, you can do it. But then I was like, no, I want Nick on the
Yeah.
podium. And then it just like it happened. It was like, yes. But yeah, like, Lewis out qualifying and then outperforming Charles Leclerc, which I thought
What happened to Charles?
he was just not a happy boy all weekend.
No, but
He had a terrible qualifying session, so he said.
yeah.
Although he wasn't super far off the pace, but I think he felt like he had more in it. So he thought,
Oh, he
obviously when you
was
don't,
pissed.
yeah. But
I
then
was like,
they gambled at the start of the race with the tires, as
yeah,
they did with Kimmy,
yeah,
and George.
yeah, yeah,
But we'll get on to Mercedes. And it just didn't pay off. And it's
mm.
always in those situations where, hindsight is a beautiful thing. But if they had have done that alternate strategy at the start and then it worked for them, we would have all been like, oh my goodness, why didn't McLaren think of that? Why didn't, the other teams
Yeah.
think of that?
Yeah.
And
Every team needs a hindsight advisor. Because the
Literally.
amount of decisions that could be made by this person
Yeah.
that could help, come on.
Salary would be through the roof.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay them enough. But yeah, it was not an amazing weekend for Ferrari. But
Yeah.
I think what we can take from it is that whatever upgrades they've put on the car are working because they were definitely up there in comparison to past weeks. So
Yeah.
I think that's good. But yeah, just not coming out
Yeah, it's
to
just,
show.
it's just, as you said, it's such a shame because I did have such decent pace all weekend. I think Lewis probably had a little bit more in him, to be honest.
Yeah, I think his tyres were just cooked by the end of the stint.
Mm, mm,
And Lewis at Silverstone's a beast. In the wet
yeah,
is a beast. And he said it, before the race. Everyone's thinking Lewis is going to run away with it, but it's only the second time he's driven that car in the rain
correct. Yeah,
in history.
yeah.
So I think to finish fourth is still a mega job. And yeah, I think we're just used to Lewis doing amazing things. So we kind of had that expectation. And, a P4 when you've got the McLarens literally just flying off into the distance, I think it's a really good result. So
Yeah, absolutely.
good job, Lewis.
Well
Still
done,
love you.
Lewis. Maybe next year.
Always.
So do you want to talk about Max's fall from grace?
Yeah, I
From
think
that really impressive,
there was some kind of
pole?
stat, probably wrong with the amount of weeks and points, but it was like Nico Hülkenberg has got the same amount of points in the last 4 races as the whole Red Bull racing team.
I mean, who's Yuki Tsunoda? I don't even know.
Literally, Yuki has been nowhere. Max has been there or thereabouts, and obviously this weekend he had a spin, and which is so uncharacteristic for him because he's like usually on it.
Yeah.
But he still put in an amazing weekend.
Yeah, and I think he recovered as best as possible from that.
Yeah. All I keep thinking of is that the car is terrible. Max literally has to drive the pants off it to get any kind of result. What is he staying in 2026 for? Is he staying in 2026?
Can you imagine him in another car? Can you imagine his performance in another car?
Oh, it would be like 2023 all over again. Put Max in a fast car and see you later, everyone else. Yeah. Someone asked him.
He's so adaptable. It's wild.
He said something like life goes on or we move on. And they're like, are you moving teams? And he's like, that's for another day or something like that. He's not shutting it down.
Oh, it's stressing me out.
He's not shutting the rumors down.
No.
He's not.
Yeah. I hope we get some answers soon, though.
I know, pretty much like, I don't know if you remember Lewis's second last year at Mercedes during silly season. There were all these rumors that Lewis was going to Ferrari. And someone asked Charles in a press conference and was like, oh, who do you think your teammate's going to be next year? And Charles was like, hello, Lewis. And it was like a loot just because that was what the rumor mill was saying.
Yeah.
But, let's see, the next year comes and Lewis was still driving for Mercedes. But first week back, it was announced Lewis was moving to Ferrari. I just think if it's not happening, they would be shutting them down, not just dancing around the questions. There's got to be some truth to the rumors. There has to be.
Yeah. Hopefully it's just not him moving to Mercedes, though.
Well, where else is he going to go?
No, Cadillac.
Could you imagine? Cadillac announces their lineup and it's Max Verstappen.
Oh,
well, you know what? Sauber's scored more points than Red Bull Racing, so maybe Max Verstappen's going to move to Sauber.
Yeah, he might go to
or
Audi.
Who knows?
So great to see Adrian in the kitten in the garage, hey?
I know. He looks weird in that colour.
Yeah. It's going to take some getting used to. Such a great performance in terms of his adaptability because, the spin out. Let's talk about the spin outs, by the way. Every single car that went in for slicks.
It was just like one car's running off there, one car's running off there.
So
Did you see Charles?
Yeah.
Cross country.
You see one like Lewis sliding out and then you see Charles spinning in the background. I'm like, what is happening?
And it was like Charles, he cut a chicane and he was just committed. Over the grass he went, just mowing that grass. See you later.
Yep. Oh my goodness, seriously. And we had quite a few DNFs, didn't we?
We did. Shall we go through?
Let's. So obviously started with Franco.
My goodness. When they started, I knew he was starting from the pit lane, but his name was already blurred out. And I'm just like, what? He took a new power unit. Yeah, he's starting from the pit lane. We know that. Why is he blurred out? Even the commentators didn't know where he was or why he Like, he stalled. He stalled, and they just said, "No." They
Not
just
today.
"Not today, Franco. Not today." And
Yeah,
did you
that
see
was
for Briatore when they cut to him? Head in the hands. He
oh,
was
I didn't
just
see that. I didn't see that.
he was not a
Not
happy
happy chappy.
camper. No, which is like we posted this on our socials.
Stressful.
We put a little poll up if we think that Franco's gonna see out the season with Alpine, and
Mm.
70% of you said no. 70.
My heart is breaking.
I
My achy
know.
breaky heart.
So,
Yeah, I don't know.
Valtteri just lurking in the bushes like, that seat looks good."
Why does he keep saying every seat looks good?
I know. Oh
Keeping
my
us on our
goodness.
toes, that Valtteri.
So then we had both Racing Bulls
Yeah,
out.
so full snout first.
Weekend to forget for Racing Bulls,
Mm, not good. Again,
especially coming from
disappointing after such a good week prior.
in Austria, which
Yeah,
is just crazy. And, we say it all the time, but you go from feeling like a king to literally your car's in the wall and you got no points.
yeah,
It's just wild.
yeah. I think that element of experience comes into it because, most of them, they were all rookies that DNF'd, which was that part of
Oh
them.
my gosh, it was.
Yeah, like their
Kimmy,
first, like
Isaac,
their serious weather situation. Also, poor Isaac, both rating races out.
yeah.
Oh,
Kimmy, Isaac, Gabby, Liam, and Franco.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I guess, as you said, experience really does have a lot to do with it at the end of the day.
yeah, absolutely. So the only rookie that actually finished the race was Ollie.
Ollie. To finish in P11 as well after taking a 10-place grid drop, good on him, just outside the points. And he's a British rookie, so he's used to driving in the rain. Um,
Exactly. How about George, hey?
what? When they pitted Kimmy early, I thought, you know what? He's not up there. Try something different, see if it pays
Yeah.
off. George was running right up in the front. Why are you doing some random strategy?
Why do you wanna just see if the tires are okay to go?
Just don't gamble. Why are you gambling with this? He
It was
is,
ridiculous. I'm just checking now to see when it was that they pitted him, and my gosh, like, why did they do that?
yeah, I think they thought, you know what, it's going to pay off. It's like, no, it didn't pay off. It's not
No.
pay off. Don't try something random
Yeah,
when the rest of the guys running around you aren't. You don't want to be that first one to just do something different because it's not going to pay off if no one else does it.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think Mercedes were kind of nowhere this weekend.
Yeah,
What
quite
he finished
disappointing.
10th, 1 point. Like,
Mm.
who else do we need to talk about, Al?
I think we've covered literally everyone.
Yeah,
We don't usually
literally.
do that in an ep, but
No,
just
there
so
was just
so many outliers this week.
no. And just so many wholesome family moments.
Again, my heart can't handle it.
Did you see when Lando got out of the car and he obviously ran to his team and
Yeah.
was just scenes all round
Mm.
celebrating, and then he went over to get Wade? Zach ran up to him and was
Your
like,
mum.
"No, come over here. You missed your mum." Like,
Yeah.
Zach, like you forgot about your mum.
Oh, it's so
And you
sweet.
could see Lando like sobbing in his helmet, and he
Yeah,
closed
like,
his
kept putting
visor.
his
His
visor
mum's like,
down.
"No, no, no, no,
And
no.
his mum's like, "Nope."
Yeah, I wanna see you." Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. You could just feel that, like, through the
yeah.
camera. It was such a special moment, and, yeah, props to Zach for making sure that Lando gave his
Engineering
mum a
that,
hug.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Our favorite
Yeah.
mother.
Both his sisters were there, his grandparents.
Yeah.
Oh, home race, you can't imagine it. And at the
No.
beginning, I did think Lando won Oscar's home race.
Mm,
Only fair that Oscar wins Lando's, but it was not meant to be.
it wasn't, no.
Yeah.
So disappointing, but I'm so stoked for Lando because you wouldn't be able to wipe the smile off his face for the next 2 weeks, I don't think. He was
And the fact
ecstatic. I mean,
the
how's
fa
the bloody cut that he got?
I know. Always his nose. Do you remember a couple years ago, like, he went
Yeah.
partying in
Oh,
Amsterdam
it's
or
just got,
something
like, a
and
matching scar right next to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So funny. But, yeah, I think as well, the fact that now they do have 2 weeks to rest. He's had back-to-back wins
Mm. Oh,
coming.
he's gonna be feeling on top of the world.
Yeah, and you have time to sit in it, really feel what it's like, and just bask in the moment. Whereas when you go
Yes.
back to back to back, basically going from a race 2 days and you're into media day for the next weekend. So I think this is gonna do wonders for his confidence for the championship.
100%.
It's gonna go one of 2 ways for Oscar. He's either gonna really let this rattle him
Mm,
or he's gonna come back all guns blazing. So we shall
yeah.
see.
I don't see it rattling him, to be honest. But yeah, look, where's this championship going? Where's it
How
heading?
many points?
Is it still wide open? What? How many is it? Is it 9?
8 points.
Don't ask me to math.
We have 8 points. Imagine it comes down to these little fastest lap here, fastest lap there, which it very well could.
Mm,
I think
yeah,
whatever happens next weekend going into the summer break, this close is just so exciting.
yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. What do you think everyone does on their summer breaks? Are they just lapping it up on some secluded Mediterranean island?
Well, yeah, Instagram would tell us
Because,
that
like, I
that's
would.
exactly what they're doing. On their yachts, at the beach, just chilling, living their best life.
Hell yeah. You'd catch me on an, Greek island somewhere just downing some spanakopita and like sitting in the ocean floating.
Literally. Literally. We can only dream that we were having a European summer. Instead, I am here in Melbourne having a freezing winter.
Yep. And mine's
We
mildly cold.
Anything else to say?
What do we do with this time off that we have? But best believe that we will keep you intrigued over this
And if
break.
if any of the rumors on the mill come to fruition, we will be here to talk about them because
Absolutely.
it's not silly season yet, but it's definitely around the corner. So anything can happen.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, really looking forward to Spa.
Me too. Max Verstappen's playground historically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really enjoy Spa.
Our prediction.
Shall we? Let's go. Have you pre-planned this?
I haven't, but I know what I think. If that makes
Yeah, give
any
me your
sense.
thoughts.
So I think Max Verstappen is going to chuck it on pole
Mm-hmm.
because he is a beast around Spa. I think he's going to win the race because he's got
Ooh.
points to make up. He's got a point to prove.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, he's just going to remind everyone why he is who he is and why he's just ridiculous behind the wheel.
Yeah, cool.
So I'm thinking, yeah, Max Verstappen pole to win.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to go Lando Norris.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm going to say Charles Leclerc P3.
Ooh, Charles.
Yeah,
Okay.
Charles. Because I also think he's going to have something to prove after this weekend to forget for him.
Yeah,
So
poor
yeah,
thing. I was thinking about Charles this week because, at the start of the season, I'm sure you had this idea as well that everyone was kind of thinking that it was possibly going to be Charles's year.
yeah,
And it just dwindled really quickly. And he kind of hasn't gotten back up from there. So sorry to be such
no.
a downer about it. But I do hope that he improves in the later part of the year because he's phenomenal and we just want to see him do well. I hope maybe he is up in P3 for you. Although that's not my prediction.
Where are you going with this one, Al?
Well, I'm thinking that Oscar is just gonna, blow the house out. So I'm going with Oscar getting pole.
Ooh, yeah.
And then Oscar also converting to P1.
Mhm.
I really would want Lando to have another great weekend. But as you said, it is Max's playground. I think, yeah, definitely after this week, he's going to want to come back firing. He's going to have 2 weeks off. He's going to be all family time, new baby. Yeah, get all the good vibes going and then get down to business. And I think he's going to throw it on P2. And then I'm going with George Russell. Oh.
Georgie boy's coming
Oh,
back.
Georgie boy.
Yeah.
Hey, what happened last year with George? Something happened at Spa with George last year.
He won. Did he win?
No, it was
No, Max
Lewis
won.
won, didn't he?
No, Lewis only won one race last year.
Oh my God, what am I thinking of?
Let
I
me
can't
find-
remember.
He was disqualified. George was disqualified last year.
But who won?
Oh, it was Lewis.
Oh my God, they
Oh,
got
it was the one where George won and got disqualified. So Lewis inherited the win.
Yes.
But it was after the race.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Drama.
Drama. Anyway, so the Mercedes does go well around this track.
Yeah.
So I'm just chucking George in P3. As we just
Why
said,
not?
he got disqualified last year from his win. And
Sad.
I just need him to get some good points, you know?
Yeah, make up for this weekend.
I would love for him to overtake Max in the points. That won't happen if my predictions come true, but
No, could you imagine if he overtakes Max in the points and then Max gets
Max
his
takes his
seat?
seat.
Savage. Why are we like this?
Oh my god. And I keep
Aw.
thinking all the different scenarios as well. Imagine if they were both teammates. Oh,
It could never.
no, they would never do that to Kimmy.
Could you imagine?
But it would be amazing.
It'd be a movie. They'd have to make Formula
They
1
would have to make an
movie.
F1 too, the movie.
Yeah. Literally just about George and Max being teammates.
But then, also even if they swapped seats, like that would be wild as well.
I
Anyway,
just can't imagine Christian Horner and George Russell, that dynamic.
like
It's
two
weird.
British.
I just feel like they never have anything nice to say about each other. So there must be some like unspoken
Underlying,
animosity there. Yeah. No, I just can't. I can't picture it. Anyway, it's for another day.
All right. So looking forward to Spa. Let's see how we go.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. Well, thanks
Thanks
you.
for listening. We had a very exciting week this week. We hit 500 Instagram followers, so a little milestone for us. If you haven't seen yet, we posted a couple of throwback photos to celebrate. So yeah, just want to thank you all for joining in, listening wherever you listen, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you follow us along. We appreciate it. We are just excited to keep bringing you these episodes race after race.
We'll see you after the break.
We will.
Ciao.
Over. See you later.